Doesn't matter. Who's in my nose? Are we not yet?
Yeah, we are.
We are. We're live? Okay. Call to order the committee of the whole meeting Tuesday, May 14th, 2024 at 5:15 p.m. It's being held and transmitted electronically by the council chambers located at 39 South Shore Road in McAllister. I want to reiterate again that we acknowledge with respect and gratitude the Suboxet people who share these lands where we live, work, and play together in harmony. Introduction of any late items? From anyone? Yes.
First one, do an update on 63 Calvin Lake Road.
Is that under new business C?
No, new business, please.
You want to do business
Sure.
or 63 Cowichan Lake Road? Did you remember?
Another one, can I just have sunscreen as an agenda item as well, please?
Some screen info or whatever, okay.
Or whatever it is.
Anything else? Yes, Mr. Fernandez.
Yes, I've got a correspondence item that was passed on to me by Council Sandu. It's an invitation by the Cowichan Lake and Rivers Stewardship Society.
So that would be number 559, which is 3. Is that regarding the salmon table?
It's about an event they're holding at Sable Park on July 20th.
July 20th. Oh, okay, that's a different one. Okay. All right, thank you. You can read that out at the time then.
Yeah, it's a long letter, but I'll just read the.
Just the summary. Yeah. First paragraph and last.
Yeah.
Okay, do I have an approval of the agenda with additions, please? Mr. Frisbee, Councilor Bomaka, all in favor? Public input on any agenda item agenda that is on the agenda. Any public input? No, okay. Thank you. Minutes from the meeting of April 29th, the committee of the whole. This is just for information. It was already ratified by council. And is there any business arising from that meeting? No, okay. Delegations, representations, none. Correspondence. The first one is from Donna Rockley regarding speed along North Shore Road, request for traffic calming and installation of speed humps. I think those are the ones that they do as a crosswalk, the speed hump. What do we want to do with that? There in the bottom.
I'd like to refer this to staff to see if there is any possibility of the traffic calming, working with MOTI and where the jurisdiction ends and starts. First of all, I think it's imperative that we know where the jurisdiction lies. And if that should turn out to be ours, that we look at what possibilities could be utilized for traffic calming within that stretch. That's not the first indication of speeding and pedestrian safety along that road that we've heard in the past. So direct this to staff for further investigation, please.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Anything else? Okay, Diana Lindstrom of Lake Cowichan School request for financial support for the big fish production. I did actually meet the director the other day at the capstone seminars that we went to, and they're working really hard on this play. It's June 17th and 18th, I believe. What would we like to do with that? Something we want to think about for a while? Yes?
Through you, if I may, to our CFO, just what is remaining in our grant and aid. I know it's in our financial report, but I'll let you $650. And I know there has been some contributions to this production already, but not the full amount that they are seeking. So if you would wish, you could contribute, as they suggest, a smaller amount. I would suggest $150 to the big fish production under the grant and aid process, and I will move that.
Okay, the motion for the 150, seconder, Councillor Frisbee. Any further discussion?
And I would encourage you to go watch the production once it is finalized.
With the musicals, thank you. Good. All those in favor? Okay, thank you. And the third one is the Cowichan Lake River Stewardship Letter regarding July 20th at Salem.
Yes, the Cowichan Lake and River Stewardship Society is inviting the town of Lake Cowichan to their Our Celebrating Water Festival, We Are Connected event, which is on July 20th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. That's Salem.
Okay, so we'll put that in our diaries. Is that their first one, the first water festival, or have they had the other one?
They don't really, I think it's probably, yeah.
They've been pretty,
Oh.
the last 2 years.
did,
That's
oh.
a different thing that they did last year. Okay. All right, thank
For
you.
your manager, we
Yeah.
just need approval for say, well,
Usually I give the approval, but council can go ahead and do it.
no, that's fine. I just wondered what the process was, and if we do allow it, whether or not it can be placed on our website or Facebook page.
Sure.
When the time comes to advertise that, get some more people out.
Okay.
Thank you.
And they would have insurance for that day.
I think they've already provided.
Yes, because they got it together. Okay, thank you. Okay, moving down to the report, excuse me, finance, and admin.
5G, by the way.
Are we going to have the fire chief first?
Sorry.
A couple items just before I just follow up. First one's about Park Smart. I know a little bit of history on it. You know, CBRD stand up putting out daily things. We've been operating Park Smart since 2016. The grant total to date, $1,030,000 for our boundaries. We're not allowed to go past it. I think people ask, CBRD can't bid their boundaries. Grants are allocated on fire district boundaries. So we're in line to down the final days here of getting another grant for the next 2 years, $200,000 a year for the next 2 years each year. We'll run a little bit differently. We'll run a position that's part-time fire department, 20% part-time, 80% fire smart. Pretty sure we're gonna get that, which will also allow us to finish off our structure protection trailer, which is the units that you would hear about all the time that are turning in. Or else right now, we're trying to see that we're about 75% finished on that trailer. With that grant, if we get it. We're quite confident we'll get it, we'll finish off that trailer. And CBRD, just think in the last 2 or 3 years, they were probably put in the smart, they weren't able to get in it, they did not have enough to complete wildfire protection plan. We had drawn on in 2016, so we're ahead of them by about 5 years. And we had an agreement when they took over the emergency management, that with a resolution of we keep fire smart, the only way they could caught up to us was to stop us. So keeping going ahead is the best way. Fire Chiefs Association is taking over the administration of running fire smart. They believe how we believe it should, it's going to be run, and it is. It'll be part of your fire protection officers' duties. Right now, our fire protection would be coming into the building, inspecting it, et cetera, laying out plans for the community. In the buildings, fire smart is another step in the direction of protection. Right now, we need 2 employees, full-time employees, and the problems for fire smart, employed by the Fire Chiefs Association. State. The rest are all people in forestry that have had the title added on to the job duties they already have. But that's kind of the structure of it right now. So it's the longer term future is Fire Smart DC will be taken over and run away from Fire Smart Canada, so we probably don't have to run it better. So that's kind of where Fire Smart sitting right now. We expect to get that grant and then head in that direction now. Heading a lot more in the direction of dealing directly with homeowners, more so than doing these areas where we go and clean large portion areas off. that's a big project, lots of rules and regulations. Fishery violation, First Nations, a lot of community regulations and stuff. That's the hardest part.
Are you okay taking comments?
Yeah, you got
If I may, Madam Chair.
Yeah.
If possible, we were hoping to have a fire smart portion within our June 17th public meeting.
Yeah, Margaret and I plan to be there.
Okay, and I have reached out to, EMS to perhaps piggyback. I know there's municipal boundaries, et cetera, but we do have a considerable amount of people from outside the town boundaries that participated in fire smart.
Also, meet emergency management, maybe over the emergency management program.
Collaborative presentation on fire smart, or would that be out of bounds?
I don't think they wanted to be,
Yeah, I can answer that. I did talk to the emergency people, and they will only come, fire departments agreeable to it.
Right, and we understand the logistics of boundaries and fire protection
Yeah.
districts, et cetera, but with the contiguous nature of our electoral areas that you do cover.
Yeah.
I thought it would be helpful, but if not, we will focus on fire departments, fire smart
we
program.
can meet with them, we sit on a joint committee with them. A little bit different in that regional district is one of probably the only ones where emergency management is running fire smart. Most are run by fire cap, because it's, when you go out on the scene, fire smart ties right into operational duties. And emergency management is not doing operational duties on fire scene.
No.
There's
So the reason I
so
looked
it's
at that-
two different directions, that's
The
all.
reason I looked at that was Leoro, they've had presentations in a number of electoral areas, as they roll out their program.
Yeah,
It was brought forward at the last board meeting. We did mention the number of fire smart neighborhoods within Lake Cowichan. Unfortunately, Ladysmith is a little bit ahead of us. They came in 2014 or 2012 on their fire smart program. But just, we are one of the largest numbers of fire smart neighborhoods.
Yeah.
In BC, actually.
in the country.
A good program, and if we can focus more on the homeowner portion as you have suggested, I think we would be in good stead should we have something.
That's where we see the direction of the person that gets hired, door to door, street stuff. Events like that, not so much on foot, but a little where they do physical work, it's helping over homeowners and already do some stuff. That's kind of where the program is headed with funding. But we work with April, we talk about it.
Okay, so I'll leave that with staff.
Yeah.
And they do, we should do that.
Yeah, Margaret, we're definitely be there, we will know if this grant will be through and we'll have a staff position by then or not.
I have a question too, Friendship Park, you can't tell me to do any fire smarting there because it's under school board, is that true? Or are you allowed to connect with them and do that? Is it really-
We started a little bit, and there's where I got into about doing, that's called a prescription, because it's not just a little house. So now you got, school board, you got fisheries, Mr. Environment, they become very complicated to take on. And that's where we talked to Tony and Rebecca, the other two people that look after it, one's forester, one's a municipal, employee trying to handle these grants. It gets very complicated when you get all the entities to get permission from. So we tried to do Friendship Park before and got stalled. Yeah,
It's just that there was a fire there last year and it was scary for those people that live along.
yeah, that's the problem, more so who's hanging out in there.
Yeah,
And that can maybe be encouraged for more police to walk through or something, because they're actually starting the fires, not accidental.
yeah, that's what I heard. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. No, so first,
Oh, that's good, thanks.
okay, next item is the aerial truck, I've been pursuing it for about a year. Which you might figure out the timing on purchasing has dramatically changed in the last year and a half. It was like a 3-year wait, that is slightly improving, we had my new truck. So what it's done is made the used market stall, people hanging, having to hang on. Stuff out there, I had a good line on one, so we really researched it about March of doing that. Should have been on market, should have been thrown away. They're trying to have, so it's a real challenge to find something decent, it should improve. Looking like instead of 3 year wait, it's 2 years. Still some problems out there with that, is they're building all kinds of trucks, but there's no mirrors that run on trucks, only factory in the world that burn down. So those logistics are a real problem. We're still looking at a couple lines on, trying to find one. We had estimated up to 250,000 Canadian from our reserves for that. 60,000 we have is for bringing it in for repairs. That's in budget this year. You don't expect to get a truck that's turnkey ready. Someone can't get rid of it. They haven't done up to date stuff on it, so it's just specials, repairs, and getting it here. We're still looking at that. But we might have to change our appetite and target where we have two styles of manufacturers of trucks that fit well for us. Most cities have much larger equipment, doesn't suit us. So you gotta try and find the right one. For several reasons. Going to larger one requires everybody, probably 80–90% of the people in the halls get driver's license. That's a big training issue. And a fitters issue for our roads. Trying to stay with single axle, what I'm trying to get. In line with that, talk about how do we bring one in, where do we put the equipment, because it means we already have 4 pieces of equipment on site now. We have the reserve engine, see how it works. We have a trailer, SPU trailer sitting outside and cold winter. Storage. We also have training props also sitting inside. So we'll look at Dashwood brought in some tents, lockbox and all that. They didn't even get in them before somebody parked them up at night. They're not heat. They're not. They're only meant to get through years. Very temporary. So they're 50,000 each. We need to do this. So that was then Oak Bay was doing a prefab metal building. They did $50,000 a year lease, 950,000 purchase. They building code like it's for the company well past it, put them up with balance. So I think they're purchasing because they see a future using it down there. So back and forth with ideas. I had took the liberty to get Thor Repstock to do some ideas and plans just to see what it would be worth cost wise. There's probably $4 if you want to look around. Behind the hall is the possibility of putting up something right on the corner. There's a garden, rock gardens. And it would be in the neighborhood of about 1,150 square feet. It would give us 2 days. Would tide us over until we deal with the ambulance. Talk about a contract there. At the end of that, if we got the ambulance station bay, we'd have nothing left outside, other storage units that we have there, reserve engine, everything can go inside. Estimated cost of building that is $350,000. So dollar wise, it probably makes sense. You have something out of the end of it. We have some reserve funds that you want to talk about. Also, by allowing the ambulance in it for 5 years, they're putting money back in as a rent. So something to think about. I haven't got anywhere near on the plan. It's just a very concept drawing. We did it for free. Next step would be engineering and hydro pole. There are a few things to deal with. That's a strong possibility that would be the way to go. We're still even putting that in if we get an area, there'd still be like 3 things left outside. We can get us a couple things excited, but have to be inside the water. Biggest problem for us. So that's some of the things that are bringing back in a more concrete proposal, but we can get some more firm ideas. Asking door guys to give you a price on doors. The only thing that's electricals are pretty small. This is just a garage. Exhaust extraction is a mandatory requirement. Quote on that, so asking for a firm quote on that, and they'll have overhead doors. That's something I'll bring more concrete in the future, but to have them to think about.
Just that'll be placed on the north side of the base. That
At the back side of the building, there's a parking lot you can drive through. There's a big area there with quite deep parking stalls. We lose one of those trailers sitting in it now. And we lose one of those and maybe a couple of parking stalls. We could gain a couple of parking stalls on the other side. There's a corner that We thought about going into the bank by the Legion,
Right.
but we learned our lesson when we did the museum. Engineering costs when you go against the bank is astronomical for what they want to do with foundations.
Mhm.
So it was, it looked like the better alternative to go. Maybe the loop the road over a little bit, or you come out or something, but a little bit to look at. There's a hydro pole to find out if it can be moved or how close we can go to it.
Right.
So that's something to deal with. But it gives a long-term thing is you have, even what Jazz is true, uses the reserve engine. You don't have to worry about draining, you don't have to worry about anything sitting out of the weather, and our trucks aren't made to be outside, things spray with seas. So that would maybe in the future be inside along with, SP trailer, which is. That's probably, current dollars, that's probably about just under $300,000 value. Sitting outside and trying to keep most of our proposals. So, something like the things to consider. A better way to go. Dollar wise.
And another, if I follow up, so you'll be doing some more concrete estimates, et cetera. Bringing that back to the budget next year perhaps?
Well, we've got the reserve funds now, so we just need to decide whether. We go further with it, small, I don't know. It was just, I needed to get better numbers.
Yeah.
I needed to get it higher, give us an idea, then we need to go to an engineer, get an estimate for an estimate.
I'm just looking at the timeline.
Yeah.
Because there will be contributions from perhaps the CBRD, the place of the aerial should happen. And the opportunity for me to lay in that is about right.
Well, further to that, I just found out, so as fire underwriters kind of govern what we do because of the recommendations, it's not concrete, but if you don't follow them, your insurance rates go all around. They just announced at a meeting the other day to us now, your neighbors can get credit for us having an area. So their insurance rates go down, so now you go back, push that to that and say. An aerial is not just for huge buildings, anytime you're, look at density, you build density with population, houses close together. If there's a building with a structure fire in it, we can't go between buildings because we have to be 1.5 times the height of the building away from that building. For collapse. So now you're looking at going around the other building to get it. So with an aerial, you get up on the roof, you can deal with it, so, but that's just new to them that they're allowing mutual aid departments to get the credit to say, where fire underwriters have a mutual aid engine or ladder. That's new.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Anything else?
A couple things. One was, we have a plan replacement of tender 8. It's, at the end of 26 by 27, there needs to be a truck here. We hope to put an RFP together. We talked about this a while ago, the money will be in reserves for it. We don't pay for anything until, the chassis arrives, which would probably be in 26. We usually pay, chassis costs, and then you pay for the truck upon delivery. So no money up front. We just plan to replace it in 25 years. Need to get going on this, just a little, something we found out at the same meeting. With the environment rules out there. 07 was the last major emissions for large vehicles, 2027 is the next one. The expected surcharge on an engine, just an engine for a vehicle is $100. That's the development cost of the, probably Cummins the only one to say they got an engine. So large horsepower engines, 400, 350, 400 horsepower hours. Smaller stuff, money. In 50, 75,000, so it's a significant number. So if you can get your RFP out, each manufacturer gets X number of chassis per year, you can get your name on one. Hold that plus money. Trying to get that out in place. And then so then anything else in that? That's the plan there. And then we had talked about the society, the fire department was going to include the society's act, form society. We're ready to take the next steps. We've been accepted. We got 6 people now and move away from officers of the fire department running a social side of the fire department. I don't know. I guess the way the society's act, it takes all the Down. Yeah, so we're ready to go down, and the next step would be a agreement of what used to go. Yes, we use this. So next steps. We've been accepted the just a few more details. The letters and then we're headed now. That's all I got.
Thank you very much, Bob. Appreciate it. Please extend our thanks to the members for all of the work.
All right.
Appreciate it.
This thing is Director of Finance, financial report for the period ending April 30th, Mrs. Gill.
Thank you, Councillor Austin. The statements are attached for the period ended April 30th, 2024. The 2024 budget numbers in the report are as presented in the 5-year plan, which was passed at the earlier meeting tonight. MNP has completed the audit of the 2023 consolidated financial statements, and they've issued an unqualified, which is a clean audit opinion again this year. Those statements have now been posted under the town's website under municipal services and finance. The statements will also be included in the annual report, which we started work on. And I would welcome any pictures or input council may have to include in that report. And now that the 5-year plan has been passed and the annual rates, work will begin on issuing the 2024 property tax notices by the end of May. At the budget meeting, grant needs were approved. And I've listed them below, and I'm debating, or I was trying to remember if the Couch Lake River stewardship was 350 or 250. Was it 350? Okay, so this is correct. So we need a motion to approve the grant needs as shown there.
We have a motion. Councillor Frisbee, Councillor Bonaka.
Question? Yeah. We have the one from tonight as well.
Sure.
The one so. Like, which is big fish production.
I don't see us. Right.
So with that amendment, yes.
And all those in favor? Any other questions on the finances or anything like that? There we go. Oh,
Steve, oh.
Steve, Councillor Bonaka.
One of them was just gonna be a comment, and it's nice to see that the dog tags licensing has finally gone up. And we're just kind of put them down for a little bit. So question is under the public works or statement of expenditures. And just wondering why the public works administration goes to 199%. And we're not quite halfway through the year.
When we post the administration charges, then some of those costs get moved over to the other areas, including water and sewer. So you'll see that, usually when I post the property tax revenues is when I post the, administration fees.
And so then it'll change.
Yeah, you'll see that, you'll see a cost recovery showing there, yeah.
Oh, okay, perfect, thank you.
Anything else? Never.
Just a question on the annual report, that will include the SOPI within that as well, the statement of financial information, or what's that?
It's done at the same time and public at the same time, but they're separate reports.
With Mr. Smith away, I was wondering, I see we've started spending money on the alternative feed schools. Is there any update on it?
Yeah, some work's already been done. I think we got it. Heat pumps been installed, yeah. Thank you.
Well, just one more. So the Sandy dump so far has brought us in a little bit of money, but the expenditure is gonna be, sorry, I didn't write it down. Do you think we'll possibly come to a break even?
I hope so, yeah, that is, I think so. The busiest months are obviously June, July and August, and part of September, so we haven't yet hit that.
So we budgeted 17,000 for expenses, and is that gonna be every year, or that's just the one time? Because I think there's gonna be
We
operating.
budgeted
costs.
10,000 in expenses. So there are costs of having, because it's credit, so there's credit card fees, there's fees for renting those machines out there. So there are, and the fees have to be paid year round, even if we're not making money.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? No? Okay, thank you. Moving along, Lake Coach and Building Inspector's report for March, that's just for your information, any questions on that? And the one for April, it's good to see that we've got some suites and duplexes that might be coming online, so that's good to see. Okay, and the next one is the Lake Halton Fire Department report for March 2024. The amount of money there is $9,588.18. Do I have a motion to accept that? Councilor Frisbee? Councilor Bonaparte? All those in favor? And the last one, Chief Administrative Officer, Municipal AV Infrastructure to 3 municipal meetings. Mr. Fernandez, did you want to speak to that?
Yes, I can. This has been a fairly painful exercise. Because, you know, there are not very many companies that install audio video systems. And so there was one company in Victoria that does it, and they've done it basically going up island. And there was another company out of Vancouver. They just provided me with a price today, basically saying we are super busy. At a high level price we came up with broadly would be between 40K to 50K to give you a similar system to Port Coquitlam. So that will take them a couple more weeks before they could come up with firmer ideas. So it's really up to council. Do you want to spend the amount that was quoted by the company in Victoria? And then that'll take about 3 or 4 weeks for complete installation.
Councilor Frisbee.
The quote that came in today, was that for audio and video?
Yes.
Yes.
I just think with the amount of, you know, we've got 100 subscribers, they're averaging 54 views on that video. So I don't think it'd be great investment to spend this amount of money on this platform. I think that there could be some upgrades we could make to, or we'd have to get another L system that has a microphone extender maybe, because I know that the issue is with the sound. There's also been some complaints about sound within this room, so but to me, spending that amount of money would be madness.
Anyone else? Mayor Hawthorne.
I think the full plan was some visual opportunities for not only us, but also for those in the audience to follow along with the agenda, et cetera. I would suggest that we await the updated vote that came in today on what that would entail. So we pause any recommendation for now and bring it back at a future meeting with both considerations and any other option that could be availed. We do need audio in here, regardless of whether it's a video upgrade of another L that could maybe accommodate that, but we do need audio and a couple of visuals.
If I may add, this last quote I got, the company indicated that they would actually have, the video would be in a 4K format. So, which is probably better than what out there now.
Okay, so do you need a motion on that, or we're just
No,
directing the staff to pause it for now? Okay. Okay, thank you. Parks and Recreation and Culture, nothing. Public Works and Environmental Services request for feline feeding stations. Mr. Sandu?
I don't have a lot to say on it. At this point, we don't have a spot for it. So maybe some private people with some acreage might be able to help, but the town, we don't have any real location where we can house something.
Anyone else have any, Councilor Marilyn?
And this was brought forward a couple of meetings ago, and it was suggested that we did not make the decision at that time during the delegation. So I wanted this to come back to just gauge whether or not there was an appetite to investigate anything further before we move along and actually make a decision. I think by allowing any structure within town facility is a door opening to some problems. Whether it be a cat feeding station or any other opportunity for permanent infrastructure within town-owned lands. I think that opens the door for some concerns personally. But I would be interested to hear what other members of council feel on moving forward with this request. We did suggest that we would make a decision tonight. And if that is the case, I think it's only fair to the proponents that we make that decision.
Anyone else? Anything, Councilor Bernardo?
So mine is just a statement, I guess, that there used to be a previous group that used to go around when they found a colony of stray cats, and they had people that fed them where those colonies were starting. And then they were spaying them and returning them instead of having one large area. And I was wondering whether that was a possibility by your group to maybe look at that. But my fear would be is if you set up one place that you may have residents that would start to drop their animals there, and that would cause a larger problem than having it throughout the community where the cats may be.
I don't understand your question.
Pardon me?
You're talking to me?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't understand your question.
Yeah, it was a comment that there.
It was a group that
Yeah, there used to
feeds,
be a group.
goes to different places and feeds
Yeah.
feeding stations. Yeah, the problem is I have 6 feeding stations, but they are in private properties. Now what happens, the cats are there, here, and the problem is there. Which means now it's very difficult to find a property owner that will allow us to do this. You know, now what happens is because of bylaws, we cannot have more than 4 or 6 animals. And the animals need to recuperate. Now, what the SPCA, the new introduction of the SPCA that a rescue can have an extension, a room, and a special room with an outside building where the cats can stay and increase the number of cats allowed per household. That it costs $50,000, which means no rescue can spend that money. Which means the idea is very nice, but feeding stations, like feeding stations, where we taking the animals after. We can take the animals for 2 weeks, but we have to return them somewhere. We cannot keep them all, and this is why the problem that the other rescue that used to be here before is not there anymore, because the SPCA has a municipal rules determine only 5 or 6 cats per household. And other than that, we can be, all the animals can be taken away, we can get sued, have a ticket, and that's the problems that we face. Now, by having a little space in some forest, that is the ideal place. It doesn't have to be, that's what I suggested, the lower part of there. It's a place where we can return the animals, and the cats are going to be there. But the only problem is now they're bothering all the neighbors, they are not getting fixed. The idea was having this space that is not has to be a building structure or anything, it has to be just, you saw in the videos that I sent.
Yes, yes.
Which means it's more a conscious way of, more humane way, and the cats are going to continue to be there and increasing and growing, and it's going to be a problem, but.
It's just that we really don't have a place in town that is suitable for that, perhaps out of town, perhaps in the surrounding area, somewhere like that. I think a decision was made by staff and it has been discussed.
I appreciate your support and I appreciate your consideration, but you can get back to us in the future when the program grows.
It's something to think, okay,
Yes.
thank you.
So Madam Chair, I would move that the request for feline feeding station not be approved at this time, with thanks to the organization for their passion on this topic.
Okay, and seconder? Councilor Percy? Any discussion? All those in favor?
Did you say this? What did you say, sorry?
It be denied at this time.
Yeah, yes, okay,
And
thank you.
we thank you for your passion. on this.
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, down to, I believe we're at new business, are we not? Hopefully, yes. Tour of municipal facilities, I think we said in June, so we'll wait for Mr. Smith to give us a date, yes?
I thought Councilor Cook, you had a couple.
Have you got it? I haven't finished yet, that's
Oh.
later on. June sometime, and he wanted us to be there when other people were there to see what goes on, so that's hopefully. Is he on holiday?
Yeah, we'll be back this week, but you may want to look at maybe doing it at the end of this month or.
End of May too,
End
he
of
said
May.
May or June, yeah, okay, all right.
Madam Chair,
Yeah.
to take into consideration that FCM is the first week of June.
Yeah, that Lake Day.
Lake days. so,
Well, we'll do it while you're away. We'll do it while you're away, we'll fix you guys.
Absolutely.
Okay. I'll book it, there you go, just kidding. So B is July first celebrations, Ronnie did some great posters for me, different ones for the July first for our group. And then, Loretta has done one as well, and I'll just do a quick report. This is in collaboration with the Council Lake Arts and Cultural Society and Country Grocer. So far, we have 9 service clubs and nonprofits committed to July first, and almost all have got their one-day insurance at $20. We've got the Couch and Lake and River Stewardship, the Arts and Cultural Society, Cadets, Ambassadors, the Elks, the Museum, the Trailblazers, the Bear Aware folks, and there's 2 that haven't gotten back to me about their insurance, Kinsman and Lions. I asked all the groups to have something at their table, a game or snack or something for children, because this is a family event. The Elder Care Society will again be doing a barbecue by donation with hot dogs and crazy potatoes, popcorn and chips, things like that. The arts group is organizing the music, the Velvet Heaven again as an MC for the entertainment. The Arts Council has funds to support the entertainers, and so far we have a range of ages and music. They will also be selling 50-50 tickets for funds towards an arts scholarship. Country Grocer have garnered a bouncy council for the event, which we're quite excited about. And reports have gone to the newspapers, and posters will be going up, I assume, just after they dates. Alistair McGregor and MP and Sonia Kirstenow MLA have been invited as usual. So I'm hoping everybody will mention that around the community, and we want to make it a big event that day. It's from 11 till 4. So we're doing it a bit longer that day and hoping for good weather. Any questions?
And that will go on our town website.
Well, yeah, not yet, so closer, yeah. It's a good event. Anything else? Okay. C would be 63 Couch and Lake Road. Any update?
I can provide that. We have been in constant contact with the owner. In fact, that's the planner and the building inspector have both been in contact with the owner. The last contact was last week. The planner had discussions with the owner, and I think we're dealing with a difficult owner who just keeps moving the goalpost. He had indicated to the planner that he was going to remove part of the building and just use the portion that the old car wash, leaving that so he could run a restaurant out of there. And so the planner asked him for drawings, conceptual plans, which are still waiting for. And in the meantime, the building inspector has been approached for a demolition permit. And the building inspectors indicated to him that he needed to get a hazmat study because the building is pretty old. And he did get not a complete hazmat study, he did get something which was not satisfactory to the building inspector. So that's where we are, and planner had indicated to me today here today that he's giving a small report on that. So once I get that, I'll share it with you.
Any other questions, Mr. Bisbee?
Just development from today started, breaking and paving on the property. So I know that at one stage, we were talking about putting out to tender a demolition contract to try and force their hand. Is that something, because I don't believe any, first of all, for clarification, May. Are we dealing with the actual owner of the building? Like, who owns the building?
He does,
He does own the building now.
yeah, but somebody else holds the mortgage. And I think it's the previous owner.
The previous owner holds the mortgage. I see. So the title is in his name. Okay, and then obviously with, you know, there was a tiny homes production presented a couple months ago. When, I guess, to the rest of the council, when is it time for us to kind of, put the hammer down on this?
We just have to follow through with what the building inspector and all these things take time.
Yeah, well, every issue that we've dealt with in terms of demolition has taken us at least 10 years. So this might even take longer. We're dealing with an owner who's, you know, keeps moving the goalposts. I'm not sure either.
There is a sign there that says for lease or sale, like the sign is still there, so it's. I think we just have to keep bugging him, as they say, Mr. Mayor.
And I know we've dealt with a number of properties that we're looking at RFPs for deconstruction or demolition. And we've always stated that it is somebody's property and we have to recognize and give them the opportunity to remediate. Having said that, I would be interested to see the updated report coming from the contract planner as to what developments have occurred, and then make a decision at the next council meeting on what avenue we wish to go down after that. I know the building inspector and the planner have been in constant contact with the owner. Been in discussions with the CAO on this matter, and want to email updates just to keep us apprised, and that will be coming shortly. And from there, then we decide whether the hammer, as you say, is to a number of times we've dealt with whether it's derelict properties, unsighted properties. And in the end, it does come to fruition. But sometimes it takes longer than we hope it would take. And unfortunately, this seems to be one of those occasions.
Yeah, I was expecting that response from everyone on how it takes such a long time, but we did give direction to staff over 3 months ago to put out that request for deconstruction of the property, which I don't believe we had.
No, I don't think there was instruction on that, in that regard. I had come to council asking if we should put out a tender, and there was not a response.
No motion?
I believe.
What month?
It has to be, council be taking, directing them, because I wouldn't want to go out and put out a tender on their own.
No, absolutely. If I may, I'll follow up with that. And I think there was a recommendation to put that forward, but let's have that report come back from the planner, and then we can do that at the next meeting. As an actual motion and recommendation, that is the will of this body.
Yeah,
We did send out a letter to him indicating that resolution where you said if he did not remedy the situation, it could end up being demolished, but that was the part of it. But we have to take the next step.
And if you can, inform the people working on that that is the direction that council is leaning towards, should there not be a resolution on this property, I think that might expedite.
Chief is well aware of it.
Yeah.
I've so much as mentioned that to him.
Okay. And I apologize for if I have turned down your passion, Councilor Frisbee, but I think we have to do due diligence to protect the corporation, should something transpire. And that's the only reason for the policy.
Just in response to that, I mean, I understand there is a process, but I think that we can speed it up by being more direct with messaging. I think the CEO is aware of his response when the challenge was brought up. It's usually a bunch of the words that he's gonna ignore our instruction, so there is a time, I realize like, we put out a request, then we get a tiny home production, business plan sent back. And now we're talking about something else. Now we're moving trees, we're not getting rid of trees, we're moving trees, and now we're breaking pavement on what I believe is the grey side. So my passion is the eyesore and the disregard for the corporation. And that's to the point where I hope that someone takes it.
Appreciate it.
Okay, and the last one is sunscreen info. Was that you, Mr. Frisbee?
Yeah, so following our discussions previously in the months I touched base with Country Grocer, and Country Grocer have only been carrying Riversafe sunscreen for the last 3 years. So they don't carry it. What I would like to table is that town staff get in touch with the stores that are carrying sunscreen in town, including the IDAs, Home Hardware, Fields, Co-op, Gas and Go, and then try and put a meeting together with the BC Conservation Foundation, so they can educate them on the non-nano mineral sunscreen that should be being used. That would be what I would see as the first step of cleaning things up in town. I'm not sure if we have staff to facilitate that, if that's a realistic goal of it, or whether that's something that we need to sort out individually. But to me, it's the first step. If we can get that information out there before summer, then we can look to eradicate the sale of these products in Lake Cowichan following summer when the stock has been cleared up. So I guess through to a CEO, is that something the staff could do and coordinate, or would that be something that someone else is doing?
Yeah, well, I mean, the superintendent and I had that discussion a while back. We don't have the resources to do that, but we could probably, the easiest thing to do is send out letters to the owners directly. That would be the most cost effective way to deal with to the people that sell. Some of sunscreen low stuff, I think, rather than have them go out there, just ask them to abide by federal regulations.
And if I may piggyback on that, with the intention of a meeting with BC Conservation, inviting them to BC Conservation for that meeting, for information meeting, within the letter asking them to adhere to non-mineral sunscreens, but also the opportunity to learn why it's important to. I think it might be important.
Yes.
Since staff don't have the capacity, would it be fitting, like I'm more than willing to be a representative of the town to put together this meeting and meet with those businesses and the Conservation Foundation. Is that something fitting for me to do through the rest of the council?
Through a resolution of this table, could we appoint Mr. Frisbee as the spokesperson of these?
Okay.
And if I may follow, how would it reside, as a standing committee or as a just standing representative? So I would move that Councilor Frisbee be a standing representative of council on the sunscreen issue with those businesses that were mentioned to reach out with correspondence on the availability of a meeting with BC Conservation and information on non-mineral sunscreens and protection of our heritage.
For clarity, not mineral sunscreen.
Yes.
It's not non-mineral, it's nano, right?
It's non-nano
Non-nano.
mineral sunscreen is what we're at.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Seconder, Councilor Napa, any further discussion? All those in favor? You're allowed to vote. I don't know, maybe we'll freeze on, is that right?
Oh, there's no compensation.
There's no money involved.
Pecuniary.
I'm gonna get paid.
No, but you need, well, you're getting paid basically, but not for that. Excuse me, okay. Notices of motion, any for another meeting? No, none? Good, that's a good question period, limited to items on the agenda. And for offsite, the phone number is 250-749-3239 if you wish to phone in. And it's 3 minutes per person per speaker. Anyone, yes, would you just come up and say your name, where you live, and what you want to discuss?
My name is Rachel Zelenko. I live in area I, but I am here on behalf of 150 kids who are registered with Lake Cowichan Minor Baseball Association. The topic I want to address is the feline feeding station. I support your decision. I know I was hoping to get here at the beginning, but I had another appointment. I have significant concerns about the potential for a feline feeding station in the location that was presented during the delegation. I don't need to get into all of it. My request would be that if a situation like that were to be ever considered anywhere near those ball fields, that you would engage with not only the Minor Baseball Association, but also the slow pitch. The decision's been made today, which I'm thankful for, but if it comes up again in the future, we'd love to be a part of that conversation.
Thank you. Thanks for your input. Anyone else? No phone call. Is the phone working?
Yeah.
It never rings. I'm gonna phone it one day when I'm not here. See if it works. Okay, I guess that's it for we don't have any in camera, right? And so I call for an adjournment, please. Councilor Von Macken. Mayor McGonigal seconded.